Hello, this is meteorologist Bill Steffen. What a streak of warm weather we are having. High temperature was 85 in Grand Rapids here on Friday, and that was warmer than an average day in July, believe it or not. And we're going to be even warmer than that here today. We'll take a look at that in just a second. A couple pictures from a recent trip to the Meyer Gardens, and I kept the squirrel in. I showed the squirrel last night, but that squirrel's so darn cute. I just thought I'd leave the squirrel in one more time to make you happy there. You can see more pictures from the Meyer Gardens on my Facebook, so check that out. All right, we've been looking at the moon. I can see the moon right out the window here from the three-season porch, and it's looking good out there. We've had a lot of clear nights. The moon's about 90% full right now. It reaches its full stage here on Monday, so we're certainly getting quite a view here. And the full moon that is closest to the equinox is deemed the harvest moon. The one after that is usually called the hunter's moon. So interesting information there on the moon. High temperatures from Friday, 87 degrees in Kalamazoo, Jackson, and Marshall. Lansing, Ionia, and Fremont hit 86. Grand Rapids, as you can see, at 85. Holland Airport was 84, and that's even with the southwest wind coming off Lake Michigan, but the airport is far enough inland. It managed to get that warm. Ludington Airport was 82, and kind of interesting, the South Haven Lighthouse and the Muskegon Pier both had their highest temperatures for the day in the evening. And the South Haven Lighthouse peaked at 76, and that wasn't until 10 o'clock. It was about 10 degrees cooler during the midday with the wind coming in off the water. And then right about 9, 10 o'clock, the wind shifted and started coming from the east off the land, and they warmed up. Muskegon Pier's temperature hit a record or a daily high of 71 at 9 p.m. Let's take a look at our sunrise and sunset time. Daylight continues to shrink. 11 hours and 35 minutes of daylight. Sun setting now about a quarter after 7, and it comes up at about a quarter after 8. Average high and low temperature, 66 and 46. That is down 1 from yesterday. We'll see our temperatures get back close to those averages here for the middle of next week. Record high temperature, 87. We're going to come real close to that. In fact, we may surpass that this afternoon. So keep an eye on temperature here. That was back in 1951. And it was interesting because 51 was a rather cool summer, and then it got real warm in the start of October. And the record low temperature was 30, set in 1943 and 1985. Picture there is a sailboat coming in. Not a ton of wind for the sailboats, but nice sail nonetheless. That was coming in the channel there at South Haven. And we'll take a look at our lake forecast here. The picture is from the Muskegon Channel, and that is a picture from Friday evening. Southwest wind should be 5 to 15 knots. They're probably closer to the 10 to 15 during the afternoon, and that should kick the waves up to about 1 to 3 feet. And this is kind of interesting. The buoys are not reporting anymore, and I assume that's due to the government shutdown. I don't know why we can't just go in and see the buoy readings and get the link and have that work. I don't know that it takes a human being to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't know. I mean, if there was a hurricane coming, I'd certainly want to see the buoy data to see what the waves and winds were doing offshore. So I don't know. But until they resolve their differences, we will probably not see any buoy data. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the Muskegon buoy has been retrieved for the summer. Today is the 22nd day in a row with above average temperatures. That's pretty amazing. All right, so we're going to take a little time out now and thank Complete Care Concierge, one of our sponsors.
Need a fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service? Complete Care Concierge has you covered. Serving all of West Michigan, we offer one-time, daily, weekly, and bi-weekly cleans, plus move in, move out. We also service apartment hallways and laundry rooms. Our work is guaranteed, gift cards are available, and we even clean on weekends. There's no better way to say I love you than giving a tired mom a break from dishes and laundry. Are you a busy professional? Pamper yourself by taking vacuuming and dusting off your plate. Office manager, keep your business looking and feeling its very best. Call 616-264-1397 today for a spotless space and total peace of mind.
Well, here's the sum total of the severe weather reports from the United States here on Friday. There were no hail reports, no wind reports, no wind damage, no gusts over 58 miles an hour, but there was one small tornado, which was called a land spout. These are the kind of a weak version of a tornado. This occurred at Jamaica, Illinois, which is east of Champaign, but that was the only severe weather report. And this is something that, again, I mentioned probably would not have been reported to anybody if it just kind of swirls around in a field for a few minutes and it comes back. So we're recording a lot more of these EF0 type tornadoes. But if you take a look at the number of really big tornadoes, the EF3 or higher, the number of those has pretty much stayed fairly steady here over the past several decades. All right, who's going to get the heavy weather today? We do have a marginal risk area out, and that runs from Canada to Colorado, mainly for an isolated wind damage report. But most of the country will remain dry. You can see there's more thunderstorms down in Florida, just day after day of thunderstorms, especially around the Miami and Fort Lauderdale area, where they've exceeded 17 inches of rain since September 1st. So that's pretty crazy. And then we look at Sunday, and that marginal area is smaller and is in southern Nebraska down to the Oklahoma Panhandle. Could be a thunder shower west of us in Wisconsin, but we will stay dry here during the day on Sunday. In fact, all weekend long. All right, let's take a look right now at rainfall and look at the heavy rain that's falling along the coastline from South Carolina down through Florida, around the Gulf Coast areas, the Mississippi Delta, down around Brownsville, Texas. There'll be a thunder shower, and you can see where the rain is going to fall from Wisconsin through Kansas, and then from North Dakota back toward Yellowstone National Park. It's a really wet pattern for parts of the West here of late. And I wish they'd share a little rain. I could use some rain in my garden. By the way, let's go to the next slide right here. This shows the 66-hour rainfall total for lower Michigan. And 66 hours means this is a 3-day total. Since it won't rain Saturday and Sunday, this is what will fall Monday, and probably not until late in the day or even Monday night. So if you got something late in the day and you're north of a line from about Muskegon to Big Rapids to Escoda, maybe there could be a shower coming in towards the evening. Most of that activity off to the west of us, but we have a good chance for seeing some showers move in here for late Monday night and at least during the morning hours on Tuesday, probably all day on Tuesday. Okay, we'll take a look at the tropics here for a second. They have upgraded that orange area there from yellow to orange, so that means we're over a 40% chance that a tropical storm could develop in the next 7 days, and that would be taking aim at the Antilles Islands there a little bit, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Don't worry about the X down in by Florida there. That's a 10% chance of tropical storm development. That's just going to be a bunch of thunderstorms with very heavy rainfall, compounding the wet problem that they have there. But we'll keep an eye on the mid part of the ocean there into the Antilles Islands for some tropical activity here late next week. All right, let's go to the Pacific, and we have Octave, which is going to be drifting to the northwest and then north and fizzling out. So most of these storms that develop off the coast of Mexico don't come, they don't really reach Hawaii. They give them a day of higher waves, and that's about it. The red X, though, is the next storm that's going to be developing, and that will be called Raymond. And Raymond is going to take a path to the northwest, and circulation, which is counterclockwise, will continue to pump some moisture up into the desert southwest, giving them yet another round of showers, clouds, and some slightly cooler than average temperatures. In the western Pacific Ocean, we have a couple of systems to talk about. On the left side there, we actually have a tropical cyclone in the Arabian Sea. You don't see that too terribly often. Shakti, I think it's called. You can see the nice swirl there. That's a very minimal tropical storm, but may provide some rain along the coastline there. And then we have Matmo, which is crossed Luzon, the big island of the Philippines, north of Manila. And then it is heading in the same spot into the China coast. So the next slide, I'll show you the path that we expect Matmo to take. And again, it's crossed Luzon. It's over the South China Sea. It'll pass to the north of Haikou there, and south of or north of Haikou and south of Hong Kong. And it will probably be coming on shore as a tropical storm, even though it may reach hurricane status briefly. But it will produce a lot of rain and more flooding in that same area that's already had a couple of tropical storms so far this fall season. Okay, our weather headlines. Dry weather expected through this weekend, through at least Monday morning. Mostly sunny skies expected. It won't be totally sunny, but mostly sunny. Unseasonably warm temperatures will be the rule, and even possible record high temperatures here the next couple of days. And the next chance of rain comes Monday night and Tuesday. And if you're north of Grand Rapids up toward US 10, it may come Monday afternoon. So let's take a look at the forecast for today. Look at that, 87 degrees. That's about 20 degrees warmer than average for this time of year. It will be mostly sunny, clear at night, only down to about 60. Humidity dips to 45% in the afternoon. One saving grace has been the fact that we haven't had any really humid air up here. We haven't had the Gulf moisture. So with dew points being down, this rather warm weather here hasn't been that much of an issue. Southwest winds, 5 to 15 miles an hour expected today. I'll look at some specific high temperatures across the area. 87 for Grand Rapids, 81 for Benton Harbor at the beach, 81 for Ludington at the beach. Traverse City makes 85 or 86, and even some 80s up in Upper Michigan. Wow. Fall colors are at their peak across a good portion of Upper Michigan. So if you want to head in that direction, and there's some fairly good color around Gaylord or so, but right around the Grand Rapids area in West Michigan, it's still pretty green. We've had a lot of sunshine, a lot of warm temperatures here, so the trees aren't in any hurry to lose their leaves here. They're still cranking out that old photosynthesis here. Chicago, you can see there at 88 degrees. All right, on to the forecast temperatures for Sunday, about the same. We'll see temperatures here mid-80s in most inland areas, just ever so slightly cooler in the UP, but not much. It should be a nice day up there as well. 5-day forecast looks like this. So we'll be seeing our temperatures here up into the mid-80s Saturday and Sunday, near 80 on Monday when we'll get a little bit more cloud cover coming in. By the way, on Monday, if you're in Coldwater, Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, you may reach 85. It may be a day similar to Sunday. But look at how the temperatures cool off after that. 69 here Tuesday with rain likely. 80% chance of seeing rain here. So it's not a certainty, but a good chance we'll be seeing some rain. Best bet would be about a quarter to a half an inch. We'd like a little bit more than that, but that will do. 64 degrees for high temperature on Wednesday is very close to average for the state. If we get any rain on Wednesday, it'll be in the early morning, and afternoon should be dry. Thursday should be a dry day as well. 8 to 14 day forecast, updated every single day, has us again in the above average category for temperatures, and it's done that 21 days in a row, and 21 days in a row it's been right. The cool areas out in the western United States, where there'll be some snow in the mountains of the Sierras. Some of the higher peaks in California should pick up some snow with the next system coming in. And in terms of rainfall, again, Florida sees a lot of this out to 14 days now, and they're still getting rain in Florida and in the southwestern United States. So the prime vacation areas seeing some fairly wet weather. We will be more dry than not here in the Great Lakes area. And that, again, is for October 11th through the 17th. Okay, we have some extra slides courtesy of Alex and Michelle. And this is interesting. The first Saturday of October, there's several different festivals. It's Pulaski Days in Grand Rapids, which is a huge deal. There's a big parade at 11 o'clock in the morning. That runs on the east side. It's Michigan and College is where it starts and goes down to the east from there. They promise marching bands and clowns and a whole lot more, too. Polish immigrants settled in Grand Rapids in the late 1800s, quite a few of them. A lot of them on the west side of Grand Rapids, and a lot of them worked in the furniture industry. By the way, they have Pulaski Days in Grand Rapids. They have the Harvest Festival in Rockford, and they have Red Flannel in Cedar Springs, all in the same weekend. Interesting. All right, I think we have one more slide here about Pulaski Days, which is kind of interesting. Grand Rapids ranks 20th for most people with Polish ancestry in the United States. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that because we're down around, 100 or something like that in terms of population. But Grand Rapids ranking 20th, 15,442 as of last count. Pulaski Township in Michigan, Presque Isle County, is first in the U.S. for the largest percentage of Polish residents. About 2/3 of the township has Polish ancestry. Posen Township, Michigan, Presque Isle County is second with, again, about 2/3 of the population. So that's where a lot of the Polish settled. My wife is half Swedish, and the other half of her goes back to Poznan, which is Polish, except she said that they kept moving the border back and forth. So she doesn't know whether she's Polish or German because they kept moving the border back and forth. But today she's certainly Polish. How's that for Pulaski Days? And we salute everybody. They got a great day for the parade, though it will be a warm one down there. But 11 o'clock in the morning shouldn't be too bad. And all the Polish halls, I believe, are open to the public here during the day today. I think I heard that on Woods News. So you might want to check that out too. Okay, let's see what else we got. We got some pictures to show you here. There's again the parade details, the marching bands, the clowns, the Polish immigrants settling here in Grand Rapids. Note in Grand Rapids on the west side there were a number of Catholic churches, and usually each ethnic group settled into one particular parish. There was St. James. I think they were mostly Irish there. There was St. Mary's, which is still there. That's it was more German, I believe. There's St. Adalbert's, the Basilica there, and Sacred Heart, which is over by John Ball Park. And I'm sorry if I'm missing one there, but pretty interesting. All right, let's go on to the next one here and see what we see. We've seen this slide already, so let's index one more. This actor was born October 4, 1923. He spent some of his life in St. Helen, Michigan. I know who it is. And I'll tell you what, I got a letter, I've still got it here somewhere. I have a letter from this actor, this famous actor, that he hand typed out on a typewriter. And we talked about growing up in Winnetka and Wilmette, Illinois. He went to my high school. And my mother was into drama and was there. I think she was 2 years older than this gentleman, but shared some back and forth as to what it was like growing up in Winnetka. My grandfather's family settled in Winnetka in around the 1860s, 1870s, early 1870s, something like that. So we go back there a long time. Okay, St. Helen is in Roscommon County. He played Moses in the Ten Commandments in 1956. And he also was the ringleader in The Greatest Show on Earth. He did a lot of cowboy movies, was great with horses and whatnot, really an all-around great actor and great memorizer. I remember talking to a guy who was on the crew taping a promo for some charity that he agreed to do. And he just looked over the copy and then came out and read it in that distinguished voice of his and kind of almost instantaneously memorized the copy. I am not good at that. I'm better at ad-libbing than I am at memorizing copy. All right, let's go on to the next slide, and we will show you this man is Charlton Heston. And again, I grew up, went to my high school, went to New Trier East High School in Winnetka, Illinois, as I did, as did my mother and my grandfather. All right, let's see what else we got right here. Pictures from daughter number 2 at the Meyer Gardens. we've had several trips out there to take a look at that. There are more mums out there. I mean, I had to be having a sale on mums somewhere because, boy, they got some beautiful mums out there. And what a great place to spend a fall afternoon. All right, next picture. Here's another picture from the Meyer Gardens, and I think we found the great pumpkin patch. Somebody tell Charlie Brown. And hey, we've got some hay there for you too. Those are some fairly big pumpkins. All right, let's go on the next picture here and see what else we got. I think I picked this picture out to show too. That looks like a tree almost, a conifer tree, but it's a tree that is essentially filled up with squash with all the mums around there in the front. Really a neat display. And boy, look at how green the leaves are, despite the fact that we've had this drought going on here. The trees respond to the length of daylight, and even though we're down approaching just 11 hours of daylight per day now, the trees are still making food. They're still making photosynthesis, and so they're hanging on there. But with more cloud cover and some cooler temperatures next week, that should accelerate the fall colors here in Michigan a little bit. Though I wouldn't look for peak color until the third or even the early part of the fourth week in October. So interesting. All right, let's see. We went backwards there one. There we go, going forwards. Let's go one more, and we'll be able to show you from Andrew Terrian. And that's a beautiful picture of a lake. The lakes and rivers, some of them have fairly low water levels. Again, I don't know that I think the water level in Grand Rapids, the last I checked, was down to 0.73 feet. Flood stage is 18 feet, so that just shows you there's not a lot of water coming down the Grand River. But a lot of the inland lakes are low when it comes to water as well. I was kayaking at Crockery Lake, where I go most often, Friday afternoon, and there were a number of leaves in the water. You have to kind of look at them. It was a great kayak trip I had. I saw 2 huge turtles and a bunch of not so huge turtles. A great blue heron, an eagle was flying around the west end of the lake. There were several fish that jumped in front of me, and saw a guy in a yellow vest that caught a big fish. I mean, this is like the better part of 2 feet long. So I was really impressed with that, and he was too. He was holding the thing up, but that was fantastic. And so I had a good time there. There were 2 kids swimming at the beach, and they just jumped right in the water. Water temperature there was probably about 70, seemed to me. But great day out there. Okay, what else we got here? We got one more here for you. That is a feather from John Doherty. I am not up enough on birds to tell you what that is in terms of what kind of feather that is, but that is, I saw several of them today, by the way, swimming in the water, or kind of floating around in the water. So something I'll kind of pull the feather off of them a little bit there. All right, do we have any more, or are we done for the day? John Scully, yes. Beautiful picture. Note we had some scattered clouds in the sky today. There were just a few cirrus and a few cumulus. And oh, by the way, I looked to the south and I saw just a little bit of a buildup, and I went to get on the computer, and there was actually a small shower that was east of Dowagiac in Cass County, but nothing elsewhere. And I only saw mainly sprinkles down there, but I'm sure somebody down there picked up a little bit of measurable rain. Neat picture out there. That's out by where the channel is there, and you can sit there and watch the boats go by and enjoy your day. So thank you, John, once again for that. Well, I think we have come to the end of our journey for today. I'd advise you to grab a little bit of sunblock. Certainly going to be a warm, summery day. Temperatures ought to be in the mid to even upper 80s during the afternoon, and we continue to have the GFS model give us a temperature in the low 90s this afternoon. So that would probably be the warmest October day ever if we ever got up to its forecast high of 92. So we'll be checking that out. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody, and thanks for staying with me until the end of the video.